Hi, good day. It's a beautiful day. And why it's beautiful? Because I'm gonna share with you the Holy Gospel. And unfortunately, I usually record these Holy Gospels at my church, but there seems to be no one in the parking lot. So I am locked out. But I got things to do today. I'm a busy guy. So I kind of want to share with you. I'm doing this on the fly. The book of Luke. I have my Bible out here. So we're back to the last week. I read the Holy Gospel according to John, and so you're Luke in the Lutheran liturgy. So back to Luke. I love Luke. Luke chapter 22, verse 14. And, yeah. So, this is a story of when it's Palm Sunday. So, this is a story when Jesus came to Jerusalem. I think, this Last Supper and all that. It's a long one. It's a long one, so hang in there. When the hour had come, he sat down and the 12 apostles with him. Then he said to them, "With fervent desire, I've desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say to you, I will no longer eat of it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Then he took the cup and gave thanks and said, "Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes." Oh, that's truth. I'll record this in the church. I'll continue on. God bless. Hi again. I want to continue on. In the previous section of Southside, now I'm inside. The car that pulled up was the secretary of the church, and she let me inside. Which is kind of cool, because, like, I was just at the end of the Holy Gospel where it says the coming of God's kingdom. Then leaped up Luke. That's awesome. And I did not plan that. I couldn't have planned that. But I think it's cool. But anyways, I looked on, and the verses that I want to share with you, it's a whole chapter 23, and it has it's Luke. It's Luke chapter 22, verse 14, chapter 23, verse 56. It's gonna be long, so hang in there, right? It's good for me to get this going, cause I noticed I was doing a lot of mistakes. I need to articulate better. Yeah, alright. And he took bread, back to Luke chapter 22. This is Jesus the Last Supper again. And he took bread and gave thanks and broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Likewise, he also took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. But behold, the hand of my betrayer." Likewise, he also my blood which shed for you. But behold, the hand of my betrayer is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man, as it has been determined, but what to that man by whom he is betrayed. Yeah, they're the, like, yeah. Then they began to question among themselves which of them was to betray Jesus. Now there was also a dispute among them as to which of them should be considered the greatest. And he said to them, "The kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and those who exercise authority over them are called benefactors. But not so among you. On the contrary, he who is the greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he who governs as he who serves. For who is greater than he who sits at the table, or who he serves? It's not he who sits at the table, yet I am among you as the one who serves. But you are those who have continued with me in my trials, and I bestow upon you a kingdom, just as my Father bestowed upon me, that you may eat and drink at my table and at my kingdom, and sit on the thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel." And the Lord said, "Simon, Simon, indeed, Satan has asked for you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I pray for you, that your faith shall not fail. And when you have returned to me, strengthen your brethren." But he said to him, "Lord, I am ready to go with you, but to prison and to death." Then Jesus said, "I tell you, Peter, the rooster shall not crow this day before you will deny me 3 times that you know me." And he said to them, "When I sent you without money bag, knapsack, and sandals, did you lack anything?" So they said, "Nothing." Then he said to them, "But now, he who has a money bag, let him take it, and likewise a knapsack. And he who has no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say to you that this which is written must still be accomplished in me." And he was numbered with the transgressors. For things concerning me have an end. So they said, "Lord, look here are 2 swords." And he said to them, "It is enough." Coming out, he went to the Mount of Olives, as he was his custom, and his disciples also followed him. When he came to the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not enter into temptation," and was withdrawn from them but a stone's throw, and he knelt down and prayed, saying, "Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." Then an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Then his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down the ground. When he rose up from prayer and had come to his disciples, he found them sleeping from sorrow. Then he said to them, "Why do you sleep? Rise and rise and pray, lest you enter into temptation." And while he was still speaking, behold, a multitude. And he who was called Judas, one of the 12, went before them and drew them near to Jesus and kissed him. But Jesus said to him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" When those around him saw what he was going to happen, they said to him, "Lord, shall we strike him with the sword?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Jesus answered and said, "Permit even this." And he touched his ear and healed him. Have you come out as against a robber with swords and gloves? When I was with you daily in the temple, you did not try to seize me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness. Having arrested him, they led him and brought him into the high priest's house, but Peter followed at a distance. Now when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. And a certain servant girl, seeing him as he sat by the fire, looked intently at him and said, "This man was also with him." But he denied him, saying, "Woman, I do not know him." And after a little while, another saw him and said, "You also are of them." But Peter said, "Man, I am not." Then after by an hour had passed, another confidently affirmed, saying, "Surely this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean." But Peter said, "Man, I do not know what you're saying." Immediately, while he was still speaking, the rooster crowed, And the Lord turned and looked at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said to them, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." So Peter went out and wept bitterly. Now the men who held Jesus mocked him and beat him. And having blindfolded him, they struck him in the face and asked him, saying, "Prophesy, who is the one who struck you?" And many other things they blasphemingly spoke against him. As soon as it is day, the elders of the people, both chief and yeah, I found it. Good day, God bless. I have found the missing piece to the puzzle to have an awesome life. And I want you to have it too. So, I say so a lot. This week I'd like to share with you the Holy Gospel written in John. Alright. So, yeah. Alright. I'm gonna try to attempt to not say so. So this. This is a long reading. Chapter 23. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I'm gonna go to chapter 23 because I'll be reading for a while yet more. So this after Jesus, is sentenced by Pilate. Then the whole multitude of them rose and led him to Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, "We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to pay taxes to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ, a king." Then Pilate asked him, saying, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he answered him and said, "It is as you say." So Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowd, "I find no fault in this man." But they were more fierce, saying, "He stirs up the people, teaching throughout all Judea, beginning from Galilee to this place." When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked if the men were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged to Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at this time. Now when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad. He had desired for a long time to see him, and hoped to see some miracle done by him. Then he questioned him with many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and scribes stood and vehemently accused him. Then Herod, with his men of war, treated him with contempt and mocked him, arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him back to Pilate. That very day, Pilate and Herod became friends with each other, for previously they had been at enmity with each other. Then Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, said to them, "You have brought this man to me as one who misleads the people. And indeed, having examined him in your presence, I have found no fault in this man concerning those things in which you accuse him. No, neither did Herod, for nothing deserving of death has done by him. I will therefore chastise him and release him." For it was necessary for him to release them to them at the feast. And they all cried out at once, saying, "Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas," who had been thrown into prison for a certain rebellion made in the city for murder. Yeah, the book of Luke, really, you spend hours and hours studying this, which, is really rich in text. But I'm going to continue on. Pilate, therefore, wishing to release Jesus again, called out to them, but they shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Then he said to them the third time, "Why, what evil has he done? I found no reason for death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go." But they were insistent, demanding with loud voices that he be crucified. And the voices of these men and the chief priests prevailed. So Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they requested. And he released to them the one they requested, for the rebellion and murderer who had been thrown into prison. But he delivered Jesus to their will. So Pilate released Barabbas and kept Jesus to do the people's will. Now as they led him away, they laid hold of a certain man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming from the country. And on him they laid the cross that he might bear it after Jesus. And a great multitude of people followed him, and women also mourned and lamented him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming in which I will say, Blessed are the barren, wombs that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, to the hills, cover us. For if they do these things in the green wood, what will be done in the dry? Yeah. Thanks be to God. I really, it was my plan to read that whole thing to you, but that was really powerful. The words of Jesus. I'm gonna end this here. God bless, and I'll see you next week.